Taurus, a profound shift is unfolding in your foundation, and its energy continues to quietly reshape you. Have you ever felt an unease you can't quite articulate? A sense that the solid ground beneath you is subtly trembling, a weariness that seeps into your bones, or a worry that what you've built could crumble? You are not imagining it. Your soul is responding to a ritual of re-evaluation, performed on your behalf, even if you were never aware of it. The energy from this ritual is subtly influencing every decision you make. Perhaps you're carrying burdens that aren't yours to bear. Perhaps you're clinging to old wounds, believing that letting go is a sign of weakness. You could be striving to build the security your ancestors never knew. Today, your soul is inviting you to complete this ritual not with offerings, but with a choice. You can choose to continue shouldering these stones, or begin the process of setting them down. If this resonates with you, stay with me. The ritual is not yet finished. It awaits you to unlock the final door to true peace. This ritual has taken place without your conscious awareness, yet your soul has felt it. Dear one, there are rituals that occur far from temples, no flickering candles, no one kneeling, no names spoken aloud, yet your soul hears the call, like a subtle tremor, deep within the earth. Your shoulders may feel heavy, and a deep sigh might escape you. This is no coincidence. It's not an illusion. It's the most profound ritual, invisible yet undeniably real. This ritual doesn't require your physical presence. It only needs your soul to step across a threshold of re-evaluation. In philosophy, this is known as a paradigm shift, where everything changes not from a single cause, but from a multitude of conditions converging. You don't need to know who is praying for you, or when and where. What matters is that your soul is being offered a chance for transformation. Awakened souls often share a common understanding. Some spend their lives waiting for change, while others awaken because of events already set in motion in the silent realm. If you're still listening, you likely belong to the latter group. You don't need loud reminders, you simply feel something shifting within. Perhaps you've noticed a tightness in your neck and shoulders, recurring dreams about losing your possessions, or when you look in the mirror, you recognize, my sense of self-worth is not what it was a year ago. These feelings are not mere coincidences. They are echoes of a sacred ritual resonating in the deeper layers of your consciousness. In astrology, Taurus governs the second house, the realm of value, possessions, self-worth, and what you hold as yours, all of which are now under review. Strangely, you don't need to analyze these feelings. You only need to experience them. Taurus is not here to dissect, but to transform through the wisdom of the body and the steadfastness of the heart. The Buddha once said, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become." A ritual becomes truly potent only when your mind is ready to embrace it. I recall a story that has stayed with me. An old farmer in rural Japan, who had worked his land his entire life, shared a profound experience. One morning, he awoke and felt an invisible weight that had pressed on his shoulders for years had simply vanished. No one had touched him, no doctor, no family member, but he knew his land had forgiven him for his toil, and he, in turn, had forgiven himself. This story moved me deeply because it encapsulates what a true ritual can accomplish. No words are necessary. No formal ceremony, required only a heart that has awakened to its own intrinsic value. Taurus, you are the recipient of this energy, flowing through you like fertile soil, not rushing, not overwhelming, but gradually regenerating the foundation of your soul. If you feel something stirring within, if you're feeling more sensitive about your security or a desire for solitude in your quiet space, know that you are not growing weak. You are responding to the ritual. If you sense that someone has prayed for your peace, perhaps from a past life, take a moment to express gratitude. No names or explanations needed, just a simple acknowledgement to let the universe know you've received the gift. You might wonder, if I didn't create this ritual, then who sent this energy my way? Sometimes, darkness knows your name too, not to harm you, but to test your resilience. Will you recognize how protected you truly are, while the light has been whispering within you all along? The heavy energy that has haunted you does not originate from you. It has been sent by others. Do you feel as though you're carrying responsibilities that didn't start with you, yet still weigh down your shoulders and pull you into worries that aren't yours? This is not your fault. There's a quiet truth that Taurus souls must understand. Not every load you carry belongs to you. Some of it is the weight of others, sometimes sent unconsciously, sometimes intentionally, and at times it's karmic debt seeking a place to rest. In ancient teachings, this is referred to as transferred karma. A soul, out of loyalty or a steadfast heart, may end up shouldering energies they didn't create. And Taurus, with your stability like Mother Earth and your almost infinite patience, is particularly susceptible to this. Others perceive your reliability, yet they often overlook that this very trait makes you a vessel for both light and dark energies. People come to you to offload their problems, to find an anchor, to ask you to carry them. You sit there, listen, and unconsciously absorb what others can no longer bear. You are not weak, you are incredibly strong, wielding your endurance instead of force. Astrology describes this as a karmic intersection, when Saturn, the symbol of heavy life lessons, and Venus, representing value and love, both influence Taurus. Your soul is caught between giving and preserving yourself. No one around you may see the internal struggle. There are days when you feel utterly exhausted, not due to physical fatigue, but because your spirit is drained from invisible battles fought to maintain stability for others. You've supported the weak, carried the irresponsible, even when they never said thank you. You've built a fortress for those who didn't know how to protect themselves. You've worked hard for those who didn't value your effort, believing it was your duty. Perhaps it was, but not indefinitely. In mythology, there is the figure of Atlas, the giant who held the heavens on his shoulders. He was strong, he was dependable, but he was never free. You embody the spirit of Atlas, a temporary refuge for souls who have lost their grounding. Yet, you may question, why am I always the one who has to carry so much? Why do injustice, exploitation, and betrayal seem to find me? The answer may leave you in contemplation, because you are the one capable of enduring without collapsing. You can carry the load without needing recognition. You're the only one who can keep things from falling apart and still stand firm. This isn't weakness, it's a calling. Sometimes, the divine doesn't wield a sword for justice. It employs steadfast souls to keep the world balanced. An elderly woman once shared, "I always felt I had to care for my husband's entire family, though I had no obligation. Every time they had a problem, I felt a physical weight. I didn't want to be resentful, but I didn't know how to stop until I started telling myself every night, 'Dear Earth, I don't know why I must carry this, but please help me set it down and protect my own peace.' Then, the weight on my shoulders vanished. Do you see it now? You don't need to identify who placed the burden on you. You simply need to choose not to carry it anymore. That's how you return to the universe what was never yours with love, not resentment. Faith in your own value, in your own stability, and in the law of karma becomes your invisible shield during the storm. The divine never intends for you to carry burdens indefinitely. Sometimes it waits for you to hand them back. You can do that right now. Take a deep breath and think of something you know doesn't belong to you, but that you're still holding on to an unfair promise, a past responsibility, or a fear that if you don't carry it, everything will collapse. Gently whisper, I release it. I no longer hold it. I am not a keeper of darkness. I am the light of stability. I am the path through which karma is balanced, not a receptacle for the past. Write it down if you wish. Just a single line is sufficient. I no longer hold what doesn't belong to me, or I return the burden to where it belongs and keep the peace for myself. This is your first declaration, ensuring that darkness can no longer cling to you. Not every burden has a logical explanation. Not every fatigue stems from personal fault. Sometimes you carry a weight that someone else couldn't bear, and the universe entrusted it to you, believing you would know how to handle it. And you do. You're doing it every day when you choose stability, when you don't respond to chaos with chaos, when you pray not only for yourself, but also for the stability of those around you. You are the channel through which stability flows. The most beautiful truth is that no one can shatter your foundation unless you allow it. So, if you're still here, if you see yourself in these words, write down one thing you're carrying, even if you know it doesn't belong to you. Let the universe see that you're ready to let go and allow the divine to send you a new form of protection this time, just for you. You might ask, why was I chosen? Why me? The answer is because letting go is the most powerful ritual. And Taurus, your soul, was chosen to perform it. Not for the weak, but for those who have walked through darkness and still choose stability. Some rituals require countless candles and whispered prayers. But there is one that requires nothing at all. No magical swords, no sacred smoke, no witnesses, just a heart that has grown weary of clinging and dares to utter the words, I let go. Ironically, Taurus, the most steadfast soul, is also the one most capable of holding on. How many times have you placed your hand over your heart and thought, I didn't deserve that. I just wanted them to acknowledge their mistake. I don't need an apology, just a sense of justice. Yet, you received nothing, no remorse, no redemption, just you and your wound, which you held onto like a possession you couldn't lose. In that silence, you faced a choice to hold onto resentment like a stone in your heart, or to release it like dust into the wind. Letting go isn't about granting someone else an escape. It's about giving yourself a chance to be free. A wise sage taught, holding onto anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. And a proverb reminds us, if you do not let go of what is past, you will never have room for what is better. So, letting go is not weakness. It's a sacred ritual for souls that have matured through suffering. It's a ritual unseen by the world, but one that resonates through the heavens. Have you ever witnessed someone who continues to stand firm after being betrayed, still quietly rebuilding their life after losing everything? That's not naivety. It's spiritual maturity, a state where the heart is no longer ruled by revenge or regret. And you, Taurus, embody this. Your soul is not meant for revenge. You didn't come to this world to teach others a lesson, but to show that peace can begin anew where pain once ended. Sometimes, letting go doesn't happen all at once. It unfolds gradually. In every sigh, where you choose not to speak with bitterness, in every dream where the face of your tormentor fades away, and finally, on a day when you remember everything, and your heart no longer feels heavy, that's when the ritual of letting go is complete. No one witnesses it, only the angels smile, and the divine nods. There's a story that always leaves me speechless. A businessman lost his entire fortune to a deceitful partner. On the day of the trial, everyone expected him to demand the harshest sentence. Instead, he simply said, "I let it go. Not because I'm noble, but because if I don't, I will remain a prisoner of that past." Then he walked out of the courtroom. Day by day afterward, he lived not with complete joy, but with a peace beyond words. Letting go doesn't erase the pain, but it frees you from its control over your destiny. A ritual may have been performed to help you heal, but the power to end the cycle of suffering lies within you. This ending requires no applause, no praise, no revenge. It only needs you to sit and confront the one who hurt you in your mind. Then softly declare, "I don't need you to understand. I don't need you to change. I don't need you to apologize. I only need to be free." This is the liberation of the soul without ceremony. Dear Taurus, do you know why you came to this earth? Not to live an ordinary life, but to learn how to build self-worth in the most challenging ways, rebuilding from the ashes, not to keep them close, but to free yourself from their energy. You've endured immense loss. I know. There were nights you embraced yourself in the dark, praying just to sleep without the weight of the past. There were days you smiled outwardly while an ocean of anxiety brewed within you. You've questioned, why should I let go? Do I really need to do that? The answer lies within you. If you've made it this far, if you're hearing these words and your heart is steady, perhaps your soul is ready not to forget, but to release, not to be weak, but to be free, not to appease them, but to find your peace. If you're ready, write down the name of the person or situation you once wanted to release, but couldn't. Nothing else. Just their name, not to revisit the past, but to let the universe know you've begun the ritual of release. Remember this whisper from your soul: letting go doesn't erase the past, but it prevents it from dictating your future. Let this ritual commence not with candles, prayers, or symbols, but with the quiet consent of your heart. When you let go, when you genuinely release, you'll realize that the light doesn't come from outside. It has always resided within you. You simply needed to clear the space for that light to shine. You might ask, what lies beyond letting go? Perhaps what you just released isn't solely tied to the living. It might be a burden passed down through generations, and you are the first brave soul to end it. It is time to open the next gateway, the gateway of ancestral souls who are awaiting your acknowledgement and release. This journey delves deeper, becoming more sacred and illuminated than ever before. Dear one, sometimes the instability in your life doesn't originate from your own experiences. It arrives as an echo of old memories, yet you don't recall living through them. It manifests as a fear of scarcity, a feeling that you must constantly work to survive, even when you are safe. You may wonder, why do I always feel like I don't have enough? Why do I repeat a pattern of overworking? Why am I always anxious about money for no reason? In those quiet moments, you may realize this isn't just your narrative. It's the story of your bloodline, a generational thread. an old song repeating its mournful melody of lack through you. You're not imagining things. In Buddhism, this concept is known as ancestral karma, or on a deeper level, a metaphysical duty. It's when a soul is entrusted with a life not solely for itself, but to fulfill what was left unfinished by those who came before. You don't need to know the entire history or determine who was right or wrong. You only need to recognize one truth. You are the end point, the one who stops the cycle of scarcity, the end of low self-worth, the conclusion of unconscious patterns that have kept your lineage trapped in unhealed pain. Perhaps your grandmother lived her entire life in poverty, or your father struggled to build a career from nothing and always carried the fear of losing it all. And now, here you are, working relentlessly, unable to enjoy your own success, not because you are foolish or incapable, but because a ritual was left incomplete, waiting for you to finalize it. You are the chosen soul to accomplish what generations before you could not. You came into this world not just to work, love, earn a living, and grow old. You are here to forge a new foundation, a foundation no one in your family has traversed. You are the deepest prayer of your ancestors, the answer to the silent tears of those who came before and never felt truly secure. In Buddhism, there exists a ritual of liberation not solely for the living to find peace, but for the departed to be set free. The deeper truth is this: when you pray for your ancestors, when you release the patterns of scarcity, when you let go of the fear on behalf of those who preceded you, you are not just saving them, you are saving yourself. When karma is unbound at the soul level, your body, emotions, and destiny are also freed. That's why some days you feel a heavy weight, even when no one has touched you. That's why you sometimes experience waves of anxiety that seem to come from nowhere, or why certain memories of hardship resurface unexpectedly, leaving you feeling drained or unsettled. These sensations are not merely your own, they are echoes from your lineage, the unresolved emotions of those who came before you. You might find yourself grappling with feelings that don't seem to belong to your current life: anxiety, sorrow, or even a sense of guilt for having more than they did. This is a sign that you are not just carrying your own experiences, but also the weight of ancestral burdens that have yet to be acknowledged and released. You may have moments of clarity when you realize that your struggles mirror those of your parents or grandparents. Perhaps you've noticed patterns in your career choices, your relationship with money, or emotional responses that seem to repeat across generations. This is the call of your ancestors, urging you to break the cycle and heal what has been passed down. It's important to understand that this isn't a burden you have to bear alone. You are the bridge between the past and the future, the one chosen to transform these inherited energies into something positive. By acknowledging these feelings and understanding their origins, you can begin to free yourself from their grip. Take a moment to reflect on your family history. Are there stories of hardship, loss, or unfulfilled dreams of security? Recognizing these narratives can help you understand the roots of your own emotions. You are not just living your life, you are carrying the hopes and fears of those who came before you. And now you have the opportunity to rewrite that story. When you let go, not only of what has hurt you, but also of the patterns of those who have come before you, you create space for healing. This act of release is a powerful ritual that allows you to unburden yourself from ancestral karma. It's a declaration that you will not allow the past to dictate your present or future. So, if you feel that pull, that urge to make things right, Know that you are on the right path. You are being called to heal, to release, and to love, not just for yourself, but for your entire lineage. This is your moment to step into the light and become the beacon of security your ancestors have longed for. As you embark on this journey, remember that transformation takes time. Be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to feel the emotions that arise, but don't let them consume you. Instead, channel that energy into positive actions, whether through creative expression, meditation, or simply spending time in nature, grounding yourself to the earth. Each step you take toward healing is a step toward liberation, not just for you, but for those who came before you and those who will follow. You are breaking the chains of the past, paving the way for a brighter future. Embrace this sacred role and know that you are supported by the love and wisdom of your ancestors. It's time to acknowledge the gifts that await you on the other side of this healing process. Gifts not only for yourself, but for the generations that will come after you. Together, let's open the door to a new beginning, one where light and love flow freely, and where the burdens of the past no longer hold you back.